Yeah. Hey, Tushar, congratulations on your 720. How do you feel?
Yeah, DJ. I think I feel good. Yeah, so I started from around 670 when I gave my first GMAT prep mock to just assess where I am before the
Hmm.
preparation started.
Hmm.
So V31, Q49. Yeah, so from there to 720, yeah, definitely it feels good that
Got it.
the
So,
progress has.
yeah, so you improved from V31 to obviously a V37, and a lot to do is with the verbal course that you use with EGMAT, right? So just take me through how you leverage the course and how the course is in comparison to probably books that you've used before or stuff like that.
Yeah, so I guess before that, I just thought that I'll use OG books, right? So straight away, however, a senior of mine suggested that no, you can go for an EGMAT course,
Hmm.
right? So I straight away started with that. I didn't use any other book apart from EGMAT.
Hmm.
And I think the course has been really helpful. Before this, I thought that the weakest area for me was SC, right?
Hmm.
After first prep mock, I figured it out, right? So I had to focus on SC mostly. And I think the way EG course is structured for SC, that is really beautiful. So I think there's no concept which is not there.
Hmm.
And once you have done all the questions also, I don't think there's anything new to learn outside those questions. So all in all, I think SC it comprehensively covers everything which is there in the agent.
And anything that really stood out in the SE course that worked for you in the exam eventually?
Yeah, right. So see, actually, before that, I was kind of focusing on how to go through the questions fast, how to
Hmm.
read fast, how to answer fast.
Hmm.
But yeah, I guess the process which EGMAT teaches is that you have to understand the meaning first,
Hmm.
right? So that is something you have to slowly build a habit of. I really struggled with that. But I think that is very necessary. You have to understand the meaning. If you don't understand the meaning, you'll not be able to answer the hard question. And I think that was the problem with me even till then.
Hmm.
So more you are anxious or more you try to do the questions faster, lesser will be your score because you'll not be able to get the meaning, which is very hard. So you have to read slowly. I think that is something which one should start from the very beginning.
Hmm.
And I think I missed that and I really regret it.
That's a really good point because you've said something very powerful right now. So the faster you try to do an SE question, the lesser your accuracy. And that goes
Yeah.
against everything that everyone else teaches because everyone tells you to do it in 90 seconds. It's the fastest kind of
Yeah.
question. So in this time that you spend on the question, what is it that kind of helped you in SE specifically process wise that really made the difference?
Yeah, I think yes. So I started building a habit of reading the meaning first, right?
Hmm.
Understanding the meaning, and after that, going to the options and eliminating the options. And I think so. I really struggled on the tests or the quizzes where I didn't really lay emphasis on the meaning. So what I used to do was I used to pressure myself that I have to understand the meaning, and before understanding the meaning, I'll not go solving the question, right? So on the days when I was able to do that, I think I did really well in SC. On the days when I was not able to do that, my score suffered. So that was something, and I also saw a video, I guess, of Payal where it was told that you have to spend close to 50% of the time on the reading question only, right? And I think that that strategy really works. So though it is very counterintuitive, I also thought so. But
Hmm.
once you have spent that much time, you can eliminate the options much faster and very confidently. Right. So other
Perfect.
than that, I guess one thing EG Maths SC questions have a very strong quality is that the options does not have very visible splits.
Hmm.
Though there are many I guess web companies which teaches you how to read splits and all, but I think in
Yeah.
EGMAT you will not find those splits very easily, and that is good because I have seen that on GMAT questions also on the harder questions you will not find those splits that very easily.
True.
So you have to read the whole option.
True. I think the splits approach is something we don't teach at all. In fact, we just say
Yeah.
that focus your time on reading the question, understanding the meaning, and take it from there. So yeah, this is
Right.
about the CR course. What about the CR? Sorry, SE course. What about the CR and RC course?
Yeah, I think CR was the one where I got the massive improvement from EGMAT, or I guess the strategy. So
Hmm.
I don't think that in CR I had much to work upon. Before the test, also, I think in my prep mock as well, I was scoring very good in CR and in OG questions also.
Hmm.
However, my speed was slow. I used to take around 2 minutes to 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds also on harder questions.
Okay.
And I think that is what I wanted to improve upon. I thought that practicing will help me. I tried to practice a lot, and I
Hmm.
think that's not the right way. I figured it out later.
Hmm.
So you have to practice, but in the right way. So initially, I just went on practicing more and more questions. So from OG, right, I exhausted the whole OG after my CR course,
Yeah.
but I still figure out that my speed is not improving. So just by trying to do the question faster, not able to do the question
Hmm.
faster, right?
So
So I
how
figured
did
it.
you manage to reduce your time in CR? Take me through that entire process.
Yes, yes. I guess so. Again, EGMAT has a lot of emphasis on reading the question first and understanding it completely. And again, that 50% strategy, right?
Hmm.
Uh, Initially, it was very counterintuitive to me, but then I started applying that. So, what I figured out was that you have to read the question very slowly and thoroughly. You
Hmm.
have to read the stimulus very thoroughly,
Hmm.
and once that is done, you have to pre-think. Right. So I know that pre-thinking is something. So it's a very fancy word. It sounds a very fancy word, but I think it's a very elegant way to solve the problem. And I think which ETMAT teaches so that so you have to plan your line of attack, right?
Hmm.
So you want to weaken this question. This is the conclusion. So you will think in these lines. So four out of those options would be irrelevant or inconsistent. So you'll be able to figure it out very easily once you have done the pre-thinking and once you know the stimulus by your heart, right? So I
Hmm.
think that strategy worked, and by the end, most of the medium to medium hard questions I was able to do in 1 minute 30 second, 1 minute 40 second. It was a harder question where I used to take 2 minute 5 second, but that is okay.
Yeah.
But the CR was which I was using to compensate for my SC. I was not able to reduce my speed in SC that much. Yeah, you also
Hmm.
suggested that. I think I was able to do that in the GMAT as well.
Right. So I think this is very, very important that you don't need to ace every single subsection on the test. That's something that we need to understand. You play to your strengths. As far as CR is concerned, I think I shared the new strategic review videos with you. Did you maintain some sort of error log? Did that help? What was the
Yeah,
impact?
definitely. I think that was a very good suggestion. I didn't know about any error log or revision strategy,
Hmm.
right? But after that, I maintained my error log very consistently from all the quizzes, OG questions, and EGMAT questions,
Hmm.
and I used to review it very recurrently, right? So
Hmm.
that really helped me because there are a few patterns which you always miss. So if you keep on revising that, you'll always be wary of that, and you can always, avoid those traps. And I think that was really helpful. I had my Excel sheets full of those error logs, and
Right.
I used to review it very consistently.
I think the error log also helps because once you've taken the test, you need to be objective about it. So once you go away from the test, you look at these errors and you're like, why am I doing this? And you start realizing that these are the kind of errors you have. So, I mean, good talk about the SC and CR course. Let's talk about the methodology because there's something you really followed very well. The three stages of learning, right? Essentially. Take me through why and how that worked for you to kind of bring you
Yeah.
success.
Yeah, I guess so. The strategy which EGMAT shares is that you have to go through the course first, do all those course quizzes, which is built in the course.
Hmm.
After that, you have to do three medium quizzes and three hard quizzes. I think that is really helpful. So I did that for all the courses, for quant as well. Even though I thought that my quant is strong, and I think what that does is that actually covers a lot of concepts. And so once you have learned the theory, right, you also want to learn the application part as well.
Hmm.
And just after the course, if you do medium and hard level questions around 60 to 70 questions, right,
You're talking
together,
about
which
cementing
covers all the
quizzes.
domains. Yeah, cementing quizzes I'm talking about
Hmm.
that. I think that was really helpful. So not just the quizzes part. So once you have done the quiz, you have to review it, right? I think
Yeah.
that's where most of the learning happens. So for me, the most important part was reviewing my quizzes. So I used to attempt one cementing quiz on one day. After that, I used to spend the rest of the day just reviewing it.
Hmm.
So each of the parts, so especially in CR questions, I used to understand the each aspect of the argument.
Hmm.
So I think that's where you learn a lot. So you have read the concepts, you have applied it, but then you review it. So that
Hmm.
feedback to your brain, I think that really enhances your learning.
Got
So
it.
that
And
was
and
really helpful.
and this is
Yeah.
opposed to what a lot of students do actually. They just take three medium cementing quizzes and then forget about what to do next, and then they move to the
That's
hard ones. So yeah,
that's a
really good
problem.
point. Really good point. Let's talk about the quant course because you pretty much used all of the quant course, the new quant course. What are your thoughts on the methodology that we have? Because you've seen the old one as well, and you've seen the new one. What do you think is new now?
Yeah, I think so. For me, quant was still a confident thing to go about. However, I still wanted to target a Q51, so I didn't take my chances there,
Yeah.
right? So I did that. So first of all, I guess you only suggested me to straight away start with the cementing quiz, which is stage
Yeah.
two as GMAT's terminology. So I started from that. However, I realized that my tap time or the speed to attempt questions is slower, right? And
Hmm.
that would be the case because I know that I have not worked on math since 5 to 6 years after my college life, right?
True.
So I think that was really so. Once I figured it out, right? So I started going through the suggested modules of the course, I guess. So you have PERT there, right? So which recommends that okay, after each diagnostic quiz, you can skip these modules because
Yeah.
here you are attempting the questions in good manner,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So
the
I
expert
did that.
engine, I think. That basically you take a diagnostic quiz, tells you what files to do, and that's pretty cool.
So I think my whole experience with Quant Coach was that if someone wants to learn from the basic and go to Q50, Q51 kind of or Q49, I
Hmm.
think that this course is built for those people,
Hmm.
right? So anyone who wants to go from even the Q40 to Q49 or even from Q50 to Q51, I think it is good. Right?
Yeah.
So I think that the key takeaways or the key pros for me for the Quant course was that the questions were lengthy and hard,
Yeah.
and I think that is something you require. So I used to think that, okay, so I also used to attempt OG questions parallelly, and I used to think that there's a stark difference between the level of OG
Yeah.
questions and EG questions, but that's not the case. I was later corrected. So when I attempted the GMAT, I think the questions are hard and the questions are lengthy. So
Hmm.
you need to have that practice of speed, and I think EGMAT questions are really lengthy, so that actually builds your speed. And I think that was the reason I was able to finish the test with 2 or 3 questions left. But had that not been the case, or had I taken one lightly, I would not have been able to.
Yeah, a lot of students feel that our course is unreasonably hard, and I think that kind of demystifies that the course is actually
See,
built
actually,
according
I'll
to the
tell you.
GMAT now.
So if I go with GMAT prep's difficulty,
Hmm.
I think there's a stark difference. I used
Right.
to score Q51 in almost the GMAT prep mock, but that's not the case which happens on GMAT. So the
Hmm.
GMAT questions difficulty level is very different from
Yeah.
GMAT prep, and I think their EGMAT matches your. Yeah, so that's what my experience has been. I
Got it.
don't regret doing the EGMAT course. I think the difficulty levels.
Understood. So I think for a good 30 to 45 days, our engagement lasted for that long, and that's where I really came in and said that Tushar, do this, do that. Just take me through the key pointers or the key milestones of our engagement and what worked in it for you.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I think so when I bought the course, I had a small discussion with Karan. So he
Hmm.
suggested me to reach out to the support team or the mentorship team consistently. So
Hmm.
I started with that. I wasn't sure how valuable it would be,
Hmm.
right? So when I started reaching out, so so obviously when you start a course, you don't know much about it, right? What to do,
Yeah.
what not to do, how to submit quizzes, or how to attempt quizzes, how to review it, and I think that's where I started reaching out to you, and I think that was really helpful because I think GMAT is an exam which is a process exam. Your process has to be really good and your strategy has to be really good.
Hmm.
So since I guess so you guys have the whole data with you, you know what works and what not works. So it
Yeah.
really becomes important that we validate our plans with you, right? So I started reaching out to you. So I followed the way you told me to structure the whole prep, right?
Hmm.
So you do semantic first, do this first. After that, you do this course. So I completely followed that. I did my
Hmm.
SC first, then CR, then RC, and I delayed attempting my mock till the very end, right, as you suggested. And I think that was really helpful.
Hmm.
Not only because those suggestions were valuable, they were definitely valuable. Plus, also I also had confidence that okay, but what I'm following is really good, right?
Hmm.
So I could execute it very confidently. Otherwise, what could happen is if something is not working, you will straight away change your plans and then you'll mess it up.
True.
But here you know
True.
that if something is not even happening, also you can stick with it. It
Hmm.
will work eventually, right? And I think later in the end, I had around more than 100 emails with you, right? I guess
Yeah.
that was the best part of the course. I guess otherwise I would have lost or I would have changed a lot of I'm kind of a person who changes his strategies very frequently if something doesn't work out.
Hmm.
But I think that actually helped me validate my plans, and I stick with it.
Got it. I think that it's about the level of support and that sort of interaction more than anything else. And people don't know about this, about EGMAT, that we
Yeah,
go out of our way to do this. And I think it's about getting that word out there. And the fact that you mentioned there's 100 emails, literally, I had another
just a minute.
interview the other
Just
day,
a
and
minute.
yeah,
Can I just join back?
yeah, yeah,
A minute.
sure, sure.
Yeah, really
Yeah,
sorry.
hey.
Yes.
So the very fact that you mentioned there's 100 emails, Shrishti, who just scored a 740 as well, and she used to write to me every day. There's more than like 150 emails there, and that's a lot of work because an email is just not an email to us. It's so much more than that. And that's what people don't realize, that a lot of effort and time really goes into responding to each person. And what may seem as generic to you is um, a full compilation of everything we've learned, and we're offering that best to you. So I think that's really cool. Tushar. And what are your plans now going forward? What's the next step for you with the score?
Yeah, so actually, see, I was targeting a little north of 720,
Hmm.
right? So I was still hoping for that. So now I have a 720. I'm still trying to figure out what are my chances for top
Good
schools
foundation.
there.
Good foundation. So
Yeah, good foundation, you can say. So yeah. So I'm still trying to figure out, is it a score which I can use for the schools I want to target,
got
and
it.
if not, I'll still figure out how to go about it. So
Perfect.
I'm still in practice yet.
Perfect. Congratulations again. We're so happy to work with you, and we wish you all the best.
Thanks a lot.